Grief is one of life's most profound and unavoidable experiences. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, a dream, or a way of life, grief can shake us to our core and leave us feeling lost, overwhelmed, and alone. But what if I told you that there is a powerful philosophy, one that has endured for centuries, that can help you navigate these turbulent waters? A philosophy that teaches us not only how to cope with loss, but how to grow stronger from it? That philosophy is Stoicism. My friends, in this journey we call life, grief and loss are inevitable companions, but we need not be consumed by them. The ancient Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus understood this well. They developed a timeless wisdom that can serve as a lifeline when the tides of grief threaten to pull us under. In the next hour, I will guide you through the Stoic strategies for dealing with loss and emerging from its depths stronger and more resilient than before. We will explore accepting what we cannot control, focusing our energy on what is within our power to change, and maintaining a perspective that allows us to see loss as a natural part of life's ebb and flow. You will learn how to draw strength from Stoic philosophy itself through practices like negative visualization that prepare us for life's inevitabilities, and you will hear inspirational stories of how modern individuals have applied these teachings to overcome unimaginable grief and loss. So stay with me, keep an open mind, and let the wisdom of the Stoics be your compass through the darkest storms. For, as Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it. By the end of this video, you will have a powerful toolbox of Stoic principles to help you not only cope with grief and loss, but to grow from them and live a more fulfilling and resilient life. Grief and loss are inevitable parts of the human experience, woven into the tapestry of life itself. From the moment we take our first breath, we are confronted with the reality that all things must eventually end. The bonds we forge, the dreams we chase, the material possessions we accumulate, all are transient, subject to the relentless march of time and change. Yet, in these moments of loss, we often find ourselves most vulnerable and fragile. The pain of grief can be all-consuming, threatening to overwhelm us with a tidal wave of sorrow and despair. In these darkest hours, the wisdom of the ancient Stoic philosophers shines brightest, offering a beacon of hope and resilience. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lies a fundamental truth: while we cannot control the external events that shape our lives, we can control our responses to them. This principle is encapsulated in the words of Epictetus, the former slave who became one of the most influential Stoic teachers: "It's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters." The Stoics did not view grief and loss as emotions to be suppressed or denied. Instead, they recognized these experiences as natural and unavoidable aspects of the human condition. What set the Stoics apart was their unwavering belief that while we cannot prevent loss, we can choose how we respond to it. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, embodied this ideal in his life. When his beloved wife, Annia Galeria Faustina, passed away, he did not succumb to the depths of despair or neglect his duties as a leader. Instead, inspired by the teachings of Stoicism, he carried on with fortitude and acceptance, acknowledging the loss while maintaining his composure and fulfilling his responsibilities. This ability to accept what lies beyond our control is a central tenet of Stoic thought. As Epictetus wrote, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." The Stoics recognized that certain aspects of life, such as death and loss, are ultimately beyond our ability to influence. Rather than railing against these inevitabilities, they taught that true wisdom lies in acknowledging them with grace and composure. This is not to say that the Stoics advocated for a life devoid of emotion or attachment. On the contrary, they understood the value of forming meaningful connections and pursuing worthwhile goals. However, they also recognized that our happiness and fulfillment should not be contingent upon the permanence of these external factors. Instead, the Stoics encouraged us to cultivate inner resilience, a strength of character that would allow us to weather the storms of life with steadfast composure. By accepting what we cannot control and focusing on what lies within our sphere of influence, we can navigate even the most turbulent waters with a sense of inner peace and purpose. This mindset is beautifully encapsulated in another quote from Marcus Aurelius: "Our life is what our thoughts make it." In essence, while the external world is in constant flux, our inner world, our thoughts, attitudes, and responses, is the true determinant of our experience. By embracing this Stoic philosophy, we can reframe our perspective on grief and loss. Rather than viewing them as insurmountable obstacles, we can see them as natural phases of the human experience, opportunities for growth and self-discovery. Just as the changing seasons are an inevitable part of the natural cycle, so are the ebbs and flows of joy and sorrow woven into our existence. Through this lens of acceptance and inner resilience, we can find the strength to navigate the turbulent waters of grief. By acknowledging the inevitability of loss while maintaining a steadfast focus on what lies within our control, we can emerge from even the darkest storms not merely intact but fortified, our spirits tempered by the fires of adversity, our resolve strengthened by the wisdom of the ancient Stoics. While the Stoic perspective teaches us to accept what we cannot control, it also provides a powerful framework for focusing our energy and efforts on what is within our sphere of influence. For it is in these areas, where our choices and actions hold sway, that we can find solace and purpose in the face of grief and loss. As Marcus Aurelius so eloquently stated, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This profound insight reminds us that our suffering is often rooted not in external circumstances, but in our reactions and judgments about them. When confronted with the loss of a loved one, a cherished dream, or a way of life, it is natural for our emotions to run high. Sadness, anger, and a sense of injustice can overwhelm us, clouding our vision and consuming our thoughts. Yet, in these moments, the Stoic teachings offer a path forward, a way to reclaim our inner peace and composure. We can channel our energy into constructive outlets by shifting our focus to what lies within our control. While we may be unable to prevent or undo the loss, we can choose how we respond. Do we allow ourselves to be consumed by despair, lashing out at those around us and neglecting our responsibilities? Or do we consciously direct our thoughts and actions towards personal growth, self-care, and pursuing meaningful endeavors? The choice ultimately is ours, a reality that the Stoics understood well. For them, true freedom and fulfillment lay not in external circumstances, but in the power we wield over our minds and choices. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher and advisor to Emperor Nero, embodied this principle in his life. When faced with the losses of his son and father-in-law, he did not succumb to the depths of grief. Instead, he maintained a sense of emotional balance, writing, "Grief is a natural response to loss, but it should not be allowed to consume us." Seneca's words remind us that grief is a natural and valid emotion, but it need not define or limit us. By maintaining a sense of emotional equilibrium, we can navigate the turbulent waters of loss with clarity and purpose, directing our actions towards constructive outlets that serve our well-being and the greater good. In the modern world, we can find countless examples of individuals who have embodied this Stoic principle, channeling their grief into positive change and personal growth. Consider the story of a young woman who, upon losing her mother to cancer, chose to honor her memory by volunteering at a local hospice, offering comfort and support to others facing similar struggles. Rather than allowing her grief to consume her, this woman focused her energy on what was within her control, her ability to provide compassion and service to those in need. In doing so, she not only found solace and purpose in the face of her loss, but also made a meaningful difference in the lives of others. Such stories remind us that even in our darkest moments, we possess the innate capacity to transform our pain into something positive and transformative. By consciously focusing on what is within our control, we can reclaim our sense of agency and empowerment, creating a narrative of growth and resilience in the face of adversity. Of course, this is not to say that the journey is easy. Maintaining emotional balance and directing our energy towards constructive outlets requires discipline, self-awareness, and a commitment to personal growth. Yet, the rewards of such efforts are immeasurable, for in doing so, we honor the memory of those we have lost and cultivate the strength and wisdom to navigate future challenges with grace and composure. The Stoics understood this well, a lesson that remains as relevant today as it was centuries ago. For in a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, focusing on what lies within our control offers a sense of grounding and purpose, a lighthouse guiding us through the storms of life. So let us embrace this Stoic wisdom and cultivate the courage to direct our thoughts and actions towards that which we can influence. By doing so, we honor the inevitable losses that life brings and pave the way for personal growth, emotional resilience, and a deeper appreciation for the fleeting beauty of the present moment.